Well, hello everybody. We did take a week off, but hey, guess what? We're back and we're full of fucking action. There's so much shit to go over this week just because we missed last week, but guess what? We're here for it. Everyone, welcome to Super Power Hours. From online league racing at dirt tracks or asphalt, we got you fucking covered. Let's you see, episode 16. A big headliner for us this week is the Next Gen Racing League is full swing into playoffs. The Cup Series is starting their playoffs and finishing their first round of 16 as we get to go over this week, as well as the Xfinity side of things. They were finishing up their championship, setting up their championship four and starting their first race for the championship. But without further ado, before we start diving too deep, as you see, Mike's name's on here. Mike won't be able to make it tonight. All good in the hood. Mr. Nepp, my old trusty colleague, how are you doing tonight?
Tired. Had a long day at work today, but excited to get back to this podcast that we missed out on last week. But nonetheless,
Yeah,
you know, it was a good reason to missing it.
yeah, it was nice little break too. We didn't have that whole thing of feeling like we need to get on there. We kind of did, but like we really didn't. But we missed it, and we're back, and that's a big, big, big thing. Um, yep. So, within the last couple weeks of racing, what have you seen? What do you feel like you've really saw that was really giving you a certain look on how the playoffs were going to go?
Um, I I'm going to have to go out there real quick, and I'm going to call somebody out. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. This man has been freaking on fire the last couple weeks, and that's Sharton.
Hmm.
I mean, he's came out of nowhere and just like racked up top finishes and stuff like that. So, I, really surprised about that. I mean, he's been a good driver all season, but he just really came into the groove. So, could make it interesting, in the long run, in these playoffs, on seeing where he might end up finishing at. Smoes, of course, naturally is the head of the pack.
Yeah.
He's so far out there. As we'll mention here in a little bit, uh, the first person to win double-digit races. With picking up his 10th win the other night. So he's anytime. One thing I've learned about this league and back to the D2D days was Samo was the measuring stick, and if you're going to win a championship, you're going to have to beat Samo. He's not going to give up too many positions. He's not going to make you know too many mistakes. So he you know he is the leader of the pack. I would have to say. But some of the best battling I felt has came, you know, to see who was going to make the playoffs. At one point it was like from 7th to 16th to make it into this next round. I mean, we were all like right there on top of each other. So
Well, Nep, yes, 100%. You definitely touched on a lot of things there. A lot of key points, and we will go over that. As you spoiled a little bit, Samo gets his 10th win of the season, but we'll get there in a minute. All right, so let's really dive in here. Let's go into the Next Generation League. We have a lot of shit to talk about. There's a lot of information for you people to take in, so be ready. Let's kick it off with the House of Vets Xfinity Series. Um, we're looking at where the hell were we? Daytona? Oh yeah, we were at Daytona. As you see, Rowdy came in, stole the pole for that race.
with a
Very,
51.580.
which was very surprising. I thought one of the regulars were gonna get it, but he said not today. So, congrats to him. At least he can make some noise. Rowdy's been a little quiet there in the racing league this season, so it's very, very interesting to not hear from him as much. But at least he's getting something. Um, Oh Jesus! Let's walk through the race. All right. So starting off with stage one. If I remember correctly, I think. Damn, who won stage one? Nep, do you have an idea?
Of course I do. Shiesty.
Oh, I didn't know
Shiesty would,
realize that. Go ahead. You
yeah,
go.
Shiesty would pick up stage one. Close battle up front. I think something happened to you somewhere, either in that at the end of that stage or a couple or the last stage. I can't remember which one, but Shiesty was able to pick up the stage win there. Y'all went into the second stage. Uh, Daytona's a super speedway. Pack racing, always you got to watch out and all, because one wrong bobble and it can mess your whole day up. But the one who won stage two, and this is nothing against him, but probably Vegas probably would have had him at 1,000-to-1 odds on winning a stage, and that's James. Comes out of nowhere and he wins a stage, gets a stage win. So hats off to you, James, on picking up the stage win
He
for
actually
the
beat me
race.
to the line. James beat me to the line
Yeah,
for stage one.
you know, he was truly living up to his name. James has speed, so. But going from there, another big shocker when it came down to the final stage. Y'all was racing it out, bumper to bumper, door to door, and another. We was wondering all season long when this guy was going to get a win, and he's been so close. He die hard, getting on the game, practicing, learning the tracks, and the killer goes out there and picks up his first win of this season, and you know your little buddy, as everybody likes to call him. Speedy would finish second. Shiesty would finish third. Josh would finish fourth. Heavy D finished fifth. Mountain Dew, man, would have the fastest lap of a 49.550. So y'all were moving around Daytona.
And it really came down to the last lap there. Me and Shicey, we had a run out of 4, and we jumped up top, and we got past Speedy, and the only one that was left was Lakille, and my car ran out of gas and killed our run. So it was really cool to the line. That was well deserved by him. He actually, as we're about to see, if everyone takes a look at these points, Lakille winning the race, that determined if he was making the championship 4. And he did. And he made it by exactly 5 points. Insane.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I think you were locked in for sure.
Yep.
And Heavy D was.
Correct.
And so it was one of those things. If one of those guys below the line won, they could possibly jump in there. So I mean, there was a lot riding on this race, and the killer goes out there when it mattered really the most and picks up his first win. I mean, phenomenal race. I was glad to see it. I mean, if there's anybody that deserved to win, it was the killer. Honestly, I'll have to say.
Yeah, no, he's been working his ass off for it. He's been getting better. So, I mean, yeah, it was a super speedway. That's his best chance of winning. He still went out there and won it. So, right on. Hats off to him. Congratulations. Good win. But as you can see, just snuck by Beerstick. Beerstick was getting ready to make it. He was a shoot in. He came in, I think, plus like 17 points. And then he came out minus 15. So Lakille definitely did what he needed to do. Now, as we look, the House of Vets Xfinity Series Championship 4. As you can see, it's myself, it's Heavy D, Mountain Dew Man, and Lakille. Now we get to race it off to see who gets to win the championship. We hop into Martinsville. Heavy D kicks off Championship 4 with his second pole of the season. So he came in showing a lot of fucking speed. Stage 1, if I remember correctly, he won. Stage 2, if I remember correctly, Beerstick won. Or it was flip flop.
Correct. You were correct.
And then the final stage, it was a lot of green flag racing, holding on to a really Yep.
It's Martinsville. I
Mhm.
mean,
Hold on to a
the
very loose
tricky
car,
paperclip.
and it just not the rear end not want to stick into the ground, ripping the right front tire up. I mean, it was altogether was fucking rough. Um, but Heavy D had his shit programmed and ripping. As you can see, he goes on to win his second race of the season, as well as win the first race of the championship for. So that is a big advantage right off the get go.
Right.
Looking
You know,
at
you would fin.
yep,
You know, yeah, you know, it's like the thing was, could anybody beat Josh? Josh, you know, you were the odds-on favor for the Xfinity Series to win the championship, and Heavy D comes out there the first race of the playoffs and says, "Hey, don't count me out just yet," you know, and he goes out there and picks up another person coming out getting a much-needed win because you finished second, followed by Shiesty, Beer Stick, and then J. Clay rounding out the top five. Josh, you even had the fastest lap with a 20.650. So,
yeah, man, I was moving. I was trying to figure it out. You know, I had a good line, and the car was a good half run car. After half the run, it fell the fuck off.
it's a tough track, that's for sure.
Definitely was. But yeah. So after those race results, as you can see, Heavy D now has a 9 point lead over myself. He's currently got a 21 point lead over Lakille. And this one is a big question mark in my book. So he's 23 points behind Mountain Dew Man. He raced his way into the championship four. Don't know about what we're going to do with his actions after Martinsville, if any. Um, when you go and try to rip another driver for laps upon laps and try to run them over, you don't have any spot with anything I'm a part of. So I don't know what the other guys are gonna do here, but I would definitely check that out.
Right. I unfortunately, you know, I just watched clips, you know, I watched Jay Clay's video, and you can't hear any of the feedback inside the race. Um, so you could only hear every now and then you could hear Jay Clay talk. You couldn't hear anything else. So this is the first I'm hearing about this. Um, Mountain Dew's a great guy. Um, I know I did see at one point where somebody had gotten into the back of him and he did get spun out, and I know that's frustrating. But one thing I could say to guys is, you know, it's racing. Accidents are going to occur. You can't let, you know, especially when it's early in a race, you can't let it dictate your whole race. You have to just brush it off and get back out there and do. You know, we all know Mountain Dew can run with the best. You know, run up there with the rest of y'all. I think he, from if I had to say, I think he just got his emotions got the best of him. Um, Usually, anytime he does have an issue on a track situation, he doesn't really say much. I mean, he might message somebody and say, "Hey, um, an incident happened on the track, this and that, da da da." But for him just to, like you said, just rip and all that. I mean, I think he just, I I think emotions just got the best of him. Um, you know, I'm not in charge. I would, if I was, I'd sit down with him and say, "Look, you know, I understand if that was the case. Tensions get high and all. You just got to breathe, you know, because there's still a lot of racing left, and there's still opportunities. You know, y'all got plenty of races to make things up. So don't let one race be your downfall."
Exactly. Well said, though. Well said. But as we continue on, now we focus on the Next Gen Cup Series. Starting off with New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And as we can see, JPR, aka the Pole Machine, does it again at New Hampshire. Nep, what was his time?
Oh, I turned the wrong page. Hold on. JPR had a 31.834. Sorry.
So the man was moving. And I wasn't there for this. So I know you have all the info on this race, Snap, so take it right away.
It's New Hampshire. It's one of those you've got to be real careful. It's somewhat of a flat track. You really got it. It's a throttle control coming out of 2 and out of 4. If you give it too much throttle, you're going to eat the inside wall. You had to watch people beside you. You didn't want, it was real easy to slide up into somebody. So, it was a lot of, getting on and getting off, finding your right points and all that. Go out there, JPR would pick up stage number 1. Trigun would finish picking up stage number 2. And then we'd go into the final stage. A lot of strategies, fuel race, and all that. And Trigun would go out there, pick up the win, followed by JPR, Samo in 3rd. Speedy would finish 4th. Baines would finish 5th. And Trigun would go out there and clock the fastest lap of a 30.931. All in all, it was a fun race. I got tied up. I got tied up in a wreck myself, and coming up to this point, it seems like I've been cursed with that 11th place finish. I've been trying so hard to get in the top 10 because I wanted to make the playoffs. My best career finish in a playoff standing is like a 14th place, and I want to say it was like season 4 of D2D. So one of my goals this year was to make the playoffs, and 2 was to get finish higher in points than I have before. And there's 4 races to decide whether, 2 races to make it to the playoffs and then 2 more in the first round to see if I would be able to make that. So we'll find out on this journey tonight on if I'm actually able to make it. But all in all, New Hampshire was a pretty good race in my opinion. Wasn't too many wrecks, which was shocking compared to the style track. So but if you look after that race, Samo holding on to a firm lead. But if we look down at the bottom of the points after this race, you're looking, Beer Stick is right there in 17th, and right above him is NASCAR in the 16th spot. So multiple cars there. I'd say anywhere between 13th on back to 17th. Had a chance to make it into the playoffs, so they just had to race their butt off. Which then would lead us into the next race, which would be Echo Park. Some would say it might as well call it a new super speedway. Especially once you made your adjustments, you could almost run that track flat-footed. You really didn't have to lift much and all that. And Rooster would go out there and capture his first pole of the season with a 29.931. That helped Rooster out. He was right there above the cut line, so he needed to get as many points as he can to try to make it into the playoffs. So, but we would go out there for stage 2. For stage 1, Reb would run away with it. Reb had a fast car that night, and he'd go out there and capture stage 1, stage 2, Reb again. So we go into the final stage, and the question is Reb going to sweep the race? Tough battling, hard racing, good pit strategies and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, JPR would be able to pick up the win, followed by Sharton. I mentioned him earlier, finished 2nd. Reb would finish 3rd. Bames finished fourth, and Trickle would finish fifth, with Samo finishing with the fastest lap of a 29.888.
Very well said, Nep. Thank you for going through that race. And then if we look real quick over here at the points. So this was the ending of the
this was
points.
the cutoff. So
yeah, this was the cutoff to round of 16. As you can see, Beer Stick was able to get in just over Shiesty. NASCAR made it, Rooster made it, and of course, Nep yourself, you got 13th. So right there, you made it into the playoffs. You're feeling good. Now let's take on the first race of the playoffs, the NASCAR Next Gen Cup Series playoffs, round of 16.
We go to my home state.
Oh yeah. Before we do that, this is the way the points reset. As you see, Samo comfortable as hell. JPR pretty comfortable. Trigun, same with him. Reb a little bit, and then you get to Beams. He's got a 30-something point lead, so he's okay. Speedy, 35, he's okay. And then you really get into it from Trickle all the way to NASCAR. So from 7th to 16th is separated by 6 points to start the round. So a lot could happen. Nep, how are you feeling going into this round?
Nervous. I mean, I had practiced. I was nervous for Phoenix, but Texas I felt comfortable with. I had been practicing there, and I was fast. I didn't think I had a car to win, but I felt I had the right setup or right adjustments to. I was looking at if I can get in the top 10, then I think I can pull this one off. I can get to the next round because I wanted to finish good at Texas because I've always struggled with Phoenix. Turn 1 and 2 at Phoenix has always messed me up. So it's like I need to finish good at Texas, and with it being realistically being my home track, me being from Texas and all that, I always want to show good. I even showed up with a Texas flag wrapped car for that race, So, and of course, I kind of fumbled a little bit there, but let's get on to Texas. JPR would go out there and capture the pole with a blistering 31.017. It was, 1 and 2's tight. You had to really learn when to let up and when to slow, when to brake and all that going into one. Because if you went in there too hot, you were going to hit that outside wall coming out of it. I mean, 3 and 4. Once people were able to make adjustments, if you found the right line, you could just drive through there, and barely, not even lift if maybe just a little bit. So it was a good race. Stage 1, we go out there. Samo would capture. Yeah, Samo would capture the stage 1. Trigun would come out there and capture stage 2. Going into the final stage, good green flag runs. Samo would pick up his 10th win of the season, as I spoiled earlier. Phenomenal 10th win. Congratulations to you, bud. Trigun would finish 2nd. Speedy would finish 3rd. JPR would finish 4th. And Baines would finish 5th. One of the biggest shockers of the night. Now, Trickle came into this week. He knew he wasn't going to be able to run Tuesday night, so he wanted to finish real good Monday night at Texas. That way he'd get enough points to get him in, that Tuesday's race wouldn't affect him too much. He gets out there, and I don't know whether it was stage 1 or stage 2, but one of them stages, as we like to say, blows a motor and ends up having did not finish, a DNF. And so it was like, okay, well, what does this do for Trickle going into the next race with him not being able to make it? Will he still have enough points gathered up to miss that race at Phoenix and still make it into the playoffs. But after after that race, you look at it with one race to go. Not much changing up top there, but you look from what was it? The big battle is down there. You look between basically 8th through 14th, well, all the way down to 16th. It was so close. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Damn, I'll get it right here in a minute. Sharton's sitting there with 2,044 points, and Ford's sitting there with 2,023 points. So going into that last race, it's like it's going to be interesting, white knuckle racing. And I was worried at this point because you're looking at it at that current time. Trickle sitting in 12th with a 1 point lead cushion. Rooster sitting in front of me in 13th, right on the outside with a 1 point lead over me, and I'm 2 points behind. NASCAR sitting there 3 points behind from being in, and Ford sitting there 4 points. So Phoenix was going to be the key, and I think that's how I like it when playoff races that's in this type of format comes down to that, and it's not like, well, everything's already locked in. You really got to go out there and race through race to be able to make things happen. So we would go. Okay, we go to Phoenix.
I was gonna say, Nep, you want me to take over because you were a little hesitant on that.
Well, I'm trying to do look at the PowerPoint, plus look at my notes and going back and forth and all that. So
I get it.
But we go to Phoenix. Reb's able to get the pole with a 27.9. Oh, sorry, 27.773.
His first.
Reb was fast.
His fourth pole of the season. Yeah.
Man, he was fast. But we go out there, and Reb wanted to redeem himself because at Texas, he had a good car, and he runs out of gas at the last lap. Little backstory. I had Rooster for position. Remember I sat there and said in the points, I ended up, Rooster was 1 point ahead of me. I decided to do the generous, courteous thing and slow down and push Reb across the finish line. And right before we get to the finish line, Rooster buzzed by me and takes the 11th place spot. So I end up finishing 12th. So that's what I get for being a good Samaritan, I guess. But anyways, back to the race at hand. Stage 1, we'll go to JPR. I mean, JPR is always fast. He's one of those elite drivers. He's became one of the elite drivers in this league. Stage 2, we go out there, and Samo had a fast car. He was able to pick up Stage 2 win. But then we come down to the final stage. Fuel mileage. Who pit? When you make that last pit, do you have crunching your math and all that? And there was a couple of guys that ended up falling almost 2 laps short. And I was actually one of those that was going to be 2 laps short. But the position I was in, it's now or never, do or die. I know what I got to do to try to make it into the next round. I can't afford to go ahead and quick, do a splash and go because I'd end up falling behind. So I started watching the intervals. I started managing my, something that I'm never good at is fuel mileage racing. And I was able to actually, I came out at turn 4 sputtering. and I was able to make it to the line. So I had just enough gas to finish that race. But Reb will go out there, redeeming himself from Texas and pick up the win there at Phoenix. Grabbing his 4th win of the season. Followed by JPR in 2nd. Samo would finish 3rd. Baines would finish 4th. Sharton would finish 5th. With Trigun having the fastest lap of the race with a 27.355. There was some situation. Rowdy lost, DNF. I think a couple other guys had internet issue, or lagged issue. So racing's done. What does that do for the points, Josh?
Oh, points implications. This is the cutoff. As you can see, Samel makes it, JPR, Trigon, Reb, Speedy, Bames, Sharton, Beerstick, Woofy. Then it gets tight. And B made it by 4 points, Rowdy by 2 points, Nep Dog by 1 point. Rooster finishes 1 point out, NASCAR finishes 4 points out, Ford finishes 10 points out, and Trickle finishes 29 points out. Nep, how does it feel to make the the round of 12? It's the farthest you've been up in a point battle anytime. How do you feel?
I'm happy. I think I was talking to MB after the race and all that. He's like, I haven't done the points yet, but I think you might have made it. Yep. I'm like, cool. And then he had a kind of bloop because in stage 1, I finished in 10th place, which gave me 1 point. And he actually gave me credit for 10 points. So, and he noticed that, and he's like, uh-oh, there's a mess up. And I'm like, oh, shit. And so then I start looking at the past points and how many points I should have had. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm still good by the 1 point. And sure enough, after all the math was finished and all that, I was able to squeak Rooster by 1 point. So luck was on my side last night. I was able to finish a strong 7th place. And honestly, and I said this in the next gen chat, I can't take all the credit for that finish. Had it not been for Speedy and somebody else running out of fuel and me being able to gain those extra 2 spots, I think we'd be sitting here with a different scenario. But grabbing those 2 final spots gives me those final, 2 more points. Give me a couple extra points that was able to allow me to jump over Rooster and lock myself into the final 12. So from here,
Nep, you're talking like a robot, brother.
Sorry, my throat's sore. From here, my goal was to finish better than 14th in the points. We're going out next week. We got a damn road course, but I'm gonna do everything I can to try to figure. Luckily, it's Watkins Glen, which is one of my better road courses, and then we got Michigan, and I'm comfortable with Michigan, so I just got to make it through the road course, and maybe, who knows, maybe I can somehow squeak my. I got a good battle there. We haven't had a chance to see what the point shape up would be, but be interesting to see what I'm going to have to do to try to make it up there into the if I can make it up there into the top 8.
And
if I'm able to,
for you.
If I'm able to make it into the top 8, that's going to be fucking great. If not, it's still a successful season.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's not easy making the round of 12, and I mean, you got it. So we'll see what happens with you.
Especially not with these guys. I mean, I have to say, granted, this is the only league that I race Cup in and all that, and but I have to say, the talent that is in this league with the Samos and the JPRs and the Rebs and the Bames and all them, it is hard to finish real strong because any week you never know who's going to pull one off. And you really got, when you come to these races, you've got to bring your A game. So there's no room for mistakes because if you make a mistake, that's it. That, you know, you're hurt. So.
All right. Thank you, Net. And as you can see, it is time for the Next Gen Cup Series round of 12. But enough of the Next Gen Racing League talk. We go to Thursday Night Thunder. They are hosting open practice tomorrow, April 30th at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come over, please hop in our Discord. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. Or leave a comment under the video. We'll reach out to you and help you out. Also, as you can see, opening night is coming up shortly. May 7th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. It all starts. It all starts here. It will be being streamed by Temple Racing Television, so that will be a very interesting one. And they'll be at Boxerville Speedway to kick off their season, so that'll be pretty cool to see. Also, we move on to the next thing. As everyone knows, the Nitrous Racing Series, which will start at Craftsman Trucks, and the D2D ARCA Revamp Series will be coming in June. Truck League will be on Fridays at 8:30 Eastern, and ARCA Leagues will be Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to inquire, please click on that Discord link that's in the description and go straight there. Do what you need to do. We will reach out, get you in the spots that you need to be in, and we will see you there. As you can see, we got a couple more info for Nitrous Racing Series. This was made by Shiesty. He put the ARCA Revamp series in the corner. That's cute. But as you can see here, this is just him reaching out to everybody out in the world that would like to be part of the league. Fresh League, Nitrous Racing Series, starting at Craftsman Trucks. So looking to get a full field. So that's 36 trucks to start the league. Racing will be starting June 5th. Practice every Friday leading up to the start date. Each driver has to go through an approval process. Yes, you have to try out for the league. Trying to make it fun. Trying to make sure we don't bring wreckers in. Gotta do, you gotta do. Do you have what it takes to make it in? Please inquire with it. Also, as you can see, Temple Racing Television times W. Head over to www.w.gg. Use the Temple promo code, which is TEMP26, and get 10% off your order. Also, First Place Autoglass. The leader in Autoglass. For serious inquiries, please email firstplaceautoglass@yahoo.com. Reach out to them. Jamestown, New York. They are basically Western New York. Great guy, Bob. He's been racing with us for years. Reach out to him if you need any help or anything to do with your Autoglass needs. Now, before we leave, do you have any messages for the people out there?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, perfect. Well, we have came to that time that the show is approaching its end. Thank you for showing up tonight. Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate the view. We appreciate the interactions. By all means, come stop in next week. We'll be here. Nep, are you ready?
Let's do it.
On a count of 3. So on 3. 1, 2, 3. To be continued.
To be continued.
All right. Okay. Thank you for tuning in to Super Power Hours. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Temple Racing Television is here for you always. Everybody have a